Hi everyone. Thanks so much for stopping by my channel. I'm Cheryl with Yarn and Hook, and normally my channel is all about crochet and my love of it. I love making critters and cardigans and hats and anything to do with crochet. And normally, I'm a very upbeat and I don't know about upbeat, but I'm a different sort of person. But love the hair, huh? I gotta get a shower. These are my natural curls slash bedhead slash throw them up, and yeah, I'm a fright. Anyway, normally I'm a different person, but I've had a terrible tragedy in my life. I just lost my mother. Um, my mother was a huge part of my life. My mother was my everything. Let me show you something. My mother, that beautiful woman right there, was my entire world. And I just had her taken suddenly from me. She was a very huge part of my life, the biggest part of my life, my whole life. And I didn't just lose my mom. There were a lot of circumstances before my mom even got sick that were going on. I would say since probably the beginning of the year, things started happening and they were ignored, and I was trying to bring attention to it, and I was shut down. And my mother was actually my grandmother, and she's my father's mother. And I was begging him to do something, and I kept being told, get off his back. He ain't doing something until she can't do something, and she's not of her right mind. And I couldn't understand why she had to be demented, or I don't know what he wanted her to be for her to be good enough to get his help. I didn't understand, and I never will. And I kept begging and pleading and saying something's wrong with mom, and I kept getting told, leave me alone, basically. Knock it off. I got enough on my plate. When it came down to mom needing help, and I had been taking the initiative, and my husband and I had been doing the help, going down and taking care of things, and when it came down to now mom's in the hospital, and now we're down to, it wasn't even making decision time. Mom did have a stroke, and mom was, the first day or two, mom wasn't able to articulate things. But then, as my videos show, mom was coming back, and she was coming back strong. She was able to communicate. At first, it was like you had to play guess, and you had to, is that what you mean, mom? And it was a yeah or no, or she was trying. She could tell you what things were, but she couldn't spell. It was difficult at first, but we got there, and eventually we were having fluid conversation. Only every now and again where you're like, what was that? And you had to like kind of play guessy guess till you got it. And sometimes she'd get frustrated, and then other times she'd rethink it, and then you'd get it because she'd say it different, and then you'd be like, oh, sorry mom, I don't know why I didn't get that. But she was coming back stronger and stronger. Again, my videos show that. In the interim of all that, her son never showed up, and behind the scenes he was betraying her, and basically told me because I was doing what she wanted, he wanted nothing to do with me. So there I am alone. Yes, my husband was a big part of it. Yes, Billie was a big part of it. But I was still alone in the actual what had to be done. It was my mom and I against the world, basically, because those people didn't know whether to believe me or him. He's calling, acting like a maniac, threatening and screaming power of attorney, while I'm standing there going, touch my mom and there's going to be a problem. It was hard. And my mom's crying, rip him up, throw him out the window. He's shit. They were coming in and telling her he called and said this and he called and said that. And she's like, no, no, no. He want me dead. He nothing. No, no. And I'm going, oh my God, stop telling her stuff. And, which in a way I'm glad they did, because she knew what was going on and what was being done. I didn't tell her. They did. I didn't know unless they said. I myself didn't even know because I wasn't talking to them. So what I'm trying to tell you is, I know you all think that I need help, but I don't need help, because the simple fact of the matter is there's a process of grieving. There's a normal process of grieving. It's called, some say 5 stages, some say 7 stages of grieving. I not only am grieving, I went through a terrible, terrible loss, a tragedy, and a huge, huge betrayal. And I cried and cried and cried last night and this morning, and I lost it because I'm now going through the guilt part of it, because if I could have taken everything back and allowed myself to just have faced the betrayal in the end and spared my mother, knowing her son hurt her and wound up being kicked in the face, which was going to happen when my mother passed away, I would have done that to spare my mom that pain. She didn't deserve what was done to her. I'm trying so hard to let this go. But it is only going to be 2 months that I lost my mom. And it's fresh and it's raw. And there's pain from losing my mom. There's pain of watching her be betrayed by someone that she thought loved her. And there's pain that I couldn't do more for her. So I got guilt right now, in addition to the anger and the huge hole in my heart for my mom. When you watch someone you love so much be betrayed and you can't do anything about it but just be there for them. Every day she said to me, "Where Ed?" And I would go, what was I supposed to tell her? All over what? I don't understand. And I every day, every person that came in, she'd cry. Edward want me dead. Edward tried to kill me. He not want me get pacemaker. He want my money. He hurt me. He make me cry. She told everybody that walked through the door. My aunt, the doctor, the nurse, everybody. My husband. I'm the one that was there 24/7 and heard it over and over. I love him. I raise him. He my son. He betrayed me. He not tell me he loved me. He made me cry. He yelled at me. Over and over. I hear these words constantly. And I couldn't do anything. How do I let that go? How do I move on? How do I You know, I know Billie said it's the past and I can't change it. I know that. But even as a child, if my mom would fake her bottom lip going that she was going to cry, I would be like, Mom, I'm so sorry. I would rather die than watch my mama cry. It killed me. It broke me. I loved her so much. I'm trying, guys. I'm trying so hard to be. I don't know what I'm trying to be. I'm trying to just be. I didn't have time to do anything in that hospital, but you know, there was no thinking. There was just doing. My mom was on a schedule. She had, like, in the morning, they had her up at 5 o'clock. I was helping bathe and dress her. You know, they were helping me to prepare to get ready to take her home. So I was learning how to care for my mother. That was part of me being there day and night, which was great. She would have first her occupational, so they were helping her eat and swallow and learn to feed herself and stuff like that. That was rehab. And then she'd rest for a little bit, and I would, you know, sit and maybe take a chair nap or whatever I had to do in the meantime, and crochet, because God forbid, we all know if I'd stop crocheting, Mom would be like, hey! You know? And then, bam, Marsha would come in and we'd be doing physical therapy, and we'd be doing our exercises and stuff like that, and then Mom would get to rest again, and then Scott would come in and we'd be doing vocational, I guess it was vocational, where she would be doing her vocal and her speech therapy is what it was called. I had no time. Then it was, you know, we were in the cafeteria, we were doing supper and stuff, and then it was, you know, we were brushing our teeth a lot because of bacteria. If she would aspirate and bacteria would get down and she would get aspiration pneumonia, that would be even worse because of bacteria going down. It was just a constant. And then I had the freaking area agent coming in because people were saying I was doing stuff to my mom, trying to get me on stuff I wasn't doing, because they lost what they thought they should have had, which if they would have done what they should have done, they wouldn't have lost it. Y'all have no idea what I've gone through. For me to be like this and not be in the fruity farm is a freaking miracle. Please don't worry about me. I love you for worrying about me. But if I wouldn't be feeling this emotion, and if I wouldn't cry when I talk about this, and if I wouldn't be heartbroken when I talk about what my mom went through, then y'all might need to worry. I am going through, I couldn't even grieve. I couldn't even grieve my mother. I didn't even have, morning and night, I was at that hospital. I was driving, peeling one eye open with my head out the window. Well, it was more this way. With this head out the window so I could still see, driving like this so I wouldn't freaking crack up, heading back to Harrisburg so I could be there for my mother with no sleep, except for a nap, if I was lucky, for an hour and a half in this said chair. Everybody knew that instead of playing power of attorney bullshit, should have stepped up and been grown and done what they should have done and left it all on my shoulders to do the right thing, which I'm proud I did the right thing. And I will always do the right thing. And then I didn't go in the ambulance with her, but we were right behind the ambulance. We got there right with the ambulance, and we went into the thing. As they're wheeling my mom in the gurney, they're wheeling the cot beside the gurney into Mom's hospital room with me right with them, because I'm going in to stay with my mom in the rehab center. I never had a break. And that's okay. I go back to that in a second to be with my mother. She was not gone, and they weren't even there for that. She was not gone 12 hours. I held her hand and would not let go 3 hours after she was gone, that they literally had to pull me from her. Till I got home, calmed down enough to sleep. It was roughly 7-ish the last time I looked at the clock. My husband's waking me up at 10 o'clock in the morning and going, your dad called with all these demands and he's gonna change the locks on the house and this and that and the other thing, and we got to be down there by 1:30 at your mom's house. Well, he couldn't do that. But the point is, I had to then, after 3 hours sleep, after 2.5 weeks of nonstop taking care of mom, which her son maybe should have stepped the hell up and did a little bit, instead of condemning me and betraying both of us because I did what he should have done. He makes demands that I have to go make sure he doesn't do what he legally cannot do. It was non-stop. So I not only had the loss of my mother, I had my mom getting better, the stroke. You know, I remember Billie saying to me, honey, she was preparing me. She told you in her videos, I keep talking to her and telling her, honey, prepare yourself. When I was saying, okay, I got to figure out what we're going to do after rehab, she kept saying, honey, I think you're putting the cart before the horse. And I said, Billie, you don't know my mom. She's coming home. She is coming home. And I remember when I showed her those videos and Billie said, I want to say I'm sorry to you. You knew all along you believed in that woman. You knew she was going to pull through this. I said, of course I did. I know my mom. I know her determination, her ability, her strength. I know my mother and I believed in her. And everybody said, and I knew it, and I told Ed, as in my father, her son, and I told the nurses and doctors, said it right out. She fought for me. And I told him that. When I took her up on the floor the night she was admitted in the emergency room, she would not cooperate with that nurse. So I said to her, I pulled her chin up and I said, you look at me. And when I had a talk with her, she starts cooperating with that nurse. Turn around, 180, 360, whatever you want to say. And I told him that. They all said there's a difference when I'm in that room. She does everything that they ask of her. When I'm not there, she needs a reason. She needs a reason to want to go. The neighbor broke down and cried and said, when I saw that video, I said to my husband, she's doing that for Cheryl Lynn. Oh my God. And I bawled my eyes out. She hadn't seen me in years. She said, all I could see was her doing that for you. You were there. She knew it. You were cheering her on. And all she cared about was you. And you were her world from the day you were born. I was doing what I knew I had to do for my mom, what my mom was asking of me to do, what my mom was telling me to do. My mother was in no way incompetent, incapacitated, or out of her mind. Yet she was betrayed by the one person she put all her faith into. And I had to pick up those pieces, which I'm glad I was there to do. That's not what bothers me. What bothers me is watching her get broke. What bothers me is that anybody hurt her bad enough to make her cry those tears that she cried over and over. And that's what I can't get out of my head. And I don't feel guilty that I stepped up. And I don't feel guilty that I said, no way are you putting my mother in a home as long as I breathe. And I don't feel guilty that I said to that doctor, after being called twice, or him coming in twice and said, after we are doing the pacemaker and then we're not, then we are, then we're not. My mom starts crying and I'm like, okay, now look, I'm done. You think he's crazy calling you on the phone and making threats? I'm bipolar. Y'all are about to see 3 Shades of Psycho. Now you're making my mom cry. Now I've had your shit enough. You either give this woman surgery or I'm going to show you I don't make threats. I do promises. Fix this today. She gets that surgery. He says, give me 5 minutes. I said, you got 5 and that's it. That doctor walks out the room. He comes back in. He says, we called our attorneys. What we can do is we can give you power of attorney in this hospital. My mom says, yes, yes, rip it up, her. And then he says, well, it'll be in this hospital. She can have power of attorney. So what the hospital did was their lawyers got involved and gave me power of attorney to give this woman a life-saving surgery that he was refusing to allow her to have. Do you know what that's like to go through that? I hope you never, ever have to endure that. That you're sitting there with your mother who's trying so hard to communicate. You know, she's communicating, but some things at that point yet were still hard to understand. You know, like I brought in sheets and I showed them. I printed a whole bunch of sheets out. Whatever I point to, she'd say what it was. Even words, she could say what they were. She couldn't spell and she couldn't write. But buddy, if I point to something, if I point to apple, she'd say apple. If I point to the word spelled and no picture, she'd say what it was. And they were some bigger words, like, I don't know, that one word was, I don't know, was it frostbite or something? It was a word she should have never known. She said, frostbite. And the doctor said, did she just say frostbite? I said, that's exactly what she said. And you're seeing, I just showed her that paper. Over and over, they tested her competency. Because it was kept on saying from somebody who never even went there to see her, she was incompetent. These are the things I can't get out of my head. Am I sorry for that? That I defended this woman, that I took a stand for this woman, that I had her back through it all, that I stood up and said, you as a doctor, you as a hospital, I have been respectful, but now you're telling me this woman needs surgery today or tomorrow she won't be here, and because some lunatic that doesn't even have enough love for her to come to this hospital is calling you and playing the power of attorney card and playing a little game with you people. You're going to tell her for the second time after you told her 3 times she's getting a surgery. And she's sitting here crying that I'm going to shut my mouth? You're wrong. He comes back in and he says, she may get the surgery. Our lawyers are signing you power of attorney in this hospital as long as she agrees to it. Oh, yes, yes, rip up. Because she was screaming from day one. She wants the power of attorney papers ripped up. He was told that before she even went in the hospital, just so y'all know that. The will, the power of attorney, everything was getting changed. But then she had the stroke and didn't get a chance to do all that. This was no shock to anybody. So I'm supposed to what? I don't feel guilt for doing what was right for my mother. And I will never feel guilt for that. The only thing I feel guilty for is after being told over and over and over. And when we were admitted into Carlisle, they asked her, 2 nurses, a doctor, and the patient advocate asked her, do you want to see your son? And she told them right out, no way. I'm here to get better, not hurt. No. They made it that he could not come there. Against her wishes, I allowed him to come see her on her final day. I do feel guilty for that. I do. I wish I wouldn't have done that. And if I did, I wish I would have left him and only him go see her. I'm dealing with a lot right now. A lot. For me to just be like this and not be in a shell and not coming out is a good thing, I think. And I know that there's some of you that don't know the whole story. That's why I'm giving a little bit more here, because not everybody, like Jess, by the way, I love you, babe, does not follow Billie or didn't know the whole set of circumstances. Because Jess, you did say, I don't know what you're going through. If you want to know anything, I know you're busy with Brooke, and oh, she's beautiful, by the way. Oh my God, what a beautiful child. And you know, you're teaching and stuff, which I'm following up on. I'm so proud of you, Jess. You're doing amazing. So proud that you found your way. If there's anything you want to know, ask me. I might not answer you right away. I know there's emails I got to answer. There's gifts I've been sent. I'm behind on everything, but I even got phone calls I got to make I haven't made. I'm in a, I don't know what I'm in, but I'm in a place. I just want you to know you don't need to worry about me. Everything I'm going through is normal. It is. And talking to somebody is not going to make any difference. I'm talking to you, my family, the people that I love, that love me, that know me before this and know how much my goose meant to me and what she meant in my life and what she has always been to me. She and my grandfather were my whole world, were my heart. They are who I am. They are what I am. Their dad must be home. They act crazy when he gets home. He went to get dog food. And the two people that were my constant, were my structure, stability, and my world, are in heaven with God now. I don't have my mom now to pick up that phone and call and do this with. It don't matter if I thought I was going to poop and I only went doop and I farted. I would call my mom. She'd say, "Oh my God, you crazy son of a bitch. Something the hell's wrong with you." And we'd laugh and laugh and laugh. It didn't matter what it was. We lived in a double block house. They lived on one side, I lived on the other side, and we would talk on the phone for 3 hours. No shit. We play this game. Hang it up. No, you hang it up. No, you hang it up. No, I'm not hanging it up on you. You hang it up on me. Oh no, I'm not hanging it up first. You hang it up first. I loved my mom. She was everything to me. I love you all. I don't want to break down again. What I'm going through is normal. I promise you that. I love you all for being concerned and thinking of me. I'll be okay, guys. I promise. I just miss my mom. And I'm grieving. And I'm gonna grieve. And I'm gonna feel these emotions. And I'm not gonna let them not feel. Because if I don't feel them, that's when the problem comes in. Molly don't like her mama crying. That's when things start to go bad. But thank you for loving me enough to care. I'm coming back later after my shower with a better video, yarn, sewing, whatever related. Okay? I love you. Thank you.